Hip Hop Connection on the Voice of America. Welcome everybody. My name is Jackson Vunganyi in for Rod Murray. In the studio today we have Teri Tobin. Welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
And in my hand I have your album, the project that you've been working in for such a long time.
Yes, yes.
First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. You from Arizona, but you also have local roots here in DC. Did DC help you find your voice?
I would say actually it did. That was when I first did my first live performances, you know, Tacoma Station and, you know, that kind of
I
place.
know Tacoma Station.
Yes,
I've been to Tacoma Station.
So that's kind of when I started writing, you know, seriously writing for myself and kind of getting my sound
And you write
together.
all your music?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
How would you describe your music?
I call it's soul music. You know, a lot of people want to put it in different categories.
Box it.
Yes, but and hey, if you want to call it neo soul, that's great too. But you know, I think at the root of it, because of my upbringing and my influences from the artists that I used to listen to,
right.
it's soul music. But you know, not to be confused with the fact that because there's songs that I do that may be rock infused. Not on this project, but there's other projects that I've worked on. And even though I'm singing on a rock track, I'm still a soul singer.
And so this is not neo soul. This is soul classic. So what are some of your soul influences?
Well, there's a lot of them, but. You know, I grew up, like, when I was little, I used to listen to Natalie Cole a lot. But I've listened to everybody, Stevie Wonder, you know, Gladys Knight, Prince, Luther Vandross, everybody. But my all-time favorite is Donny Hathaway.
Donny Hathaway. And at the back of this album, I see a picture of a little kid listening, and there's a couple of LPs.
Yes.
Tell me about this image here.
Well, the idea is to kind of give you a glimpse of what my childhood was like. When I was a kid, I used to listen to, you know, albums. Yes, we had albums back then. Anyway, and so I listened to music, and my mother had everything in her collection. And so on the album, you'll see Donny Hathaway, you'll see Stevie Wonder's Songs of Key Life, you'll see Tina Marie, her Irons in the Fire album on there. So that's just a small little piece of what I used to listen to. But that's pretty much, you know, that's when I fell in love with music.
Okay, but you also have some roots in the church.
Absolutely.
You did sing in the gospel.
Make sure that I say that. I was, you know, I was brought up in a church, and so my first time actually singing in front of anybody really was in front of the church. And my mother would teach me certain songs, you know, that I still remember to this day. That, you know, that kind of got I think back then I didn't know that that's what I wanted to do as a profession, but I just knew that that's what I did. So
now, as a person who appreciates this kind of music, I really sometimes wonder why you don't get a lot artists like yourself receive a lot of airplay or you know,
right.
as much airplay on mainstream radio. Why do you think that is?
Well, if I had the magic answer, I think we'd all be able to figure it out and also enjoy it more. But as a consumer, it's something I've always been concerned about, because, you know, there are artists like I talked about that I absolutely adore and absolutely love. And there are people that can't get on the radio now, you know, and they're legends. You know, they just don't play them because they're not popular music. But, you know, at the end of the day, even though going into the business knowing that this may not be the popular music, for me it was about doing what I love. And
it's not much about the money.
Well, no.
Sometimes you even
right.
have to use your own resources. To
absolutely. I mean, I need to pay my bills.
Right.
However, I wanted the music to be about what's closest to my soul. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, and many times before, previous managers and previous record companies wanted me to be the next so-and-so. And, you know, I just wanted to be Teri Tobin.
All right. Did you have any classical training? Singing?
I did. I went to Howard, as you might know, Howard University.
DC.
Yes.
Right.
And so that's when I went to a community college before that, but under Dr. Norris is when I got my first taste of classical music. And it truly helped, you know, in addition to the church training, it truly helped broaden my voice. And like I said, that's when I helped find my sound too, because having that foundation, you know, it'll whip you into shape.
So what's the first song that you're going to sing for us on this album?
The first one I'm going to do is I'm in Love off my album.
I thought it better
best, I tell you myself. Though you could hear it from other means, you put my heart high on a shelf for way too long. I must admit I waited for you to come around, but I woke up. He has the key now and forever, ever, ever. I am in much more than a feeling. Oh, though it feels damn good, makes me come home early and stay up all night, just like I said it would. Love and happiness is right here. It's real, so real. It's real and it's all mine. Ooh, he stimulates my soul. Oh, touches my mind. Feeds my soul. Touches my mind, my body, soul, spirit. I'm in love. I am in love. Makes me stay up late and love and happiness. I'm in love. I'm in love. Makes me come around. Ooh.
The appreciation, of this music, again, I guess partly because it's not played on mainstream radio, you find that a younger generation will not have an appreciation. You feel like this is kind of dying off, and maybe that people like you are keeping it alive, and hopefully that the younger generation will get to appreciate it.
Well,
I
it's
feel
interesting.
It's a treasure. I feel it's a good thing, and
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because if you look back, every single artist in hip hop, they've sampled something. And so the younger generation get an opportunity to hear stuff that they didn't realize was a sample. And in my case, I'm not the kind of artist that's going to kind of just change everything just so I can have that younger audience. But I'm hoping that by some of the shows and some of the events that I do and get involved in, that they will open their minds and be able to see a different side of music other than,